Not only are Disney and Lucasfilm currently focused on Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker 2 live-action TV series, but they're also focused on the new Star Wars trilogy being developed by the creators of Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. So, one thing about the new Star Wars trilogy that a lot of people are very curious about is, of course, exactly, what Disney and Lucasfilm are going to do in order to really make this trilogy stand out on its own, away from the originals, the prequels, and even the sequel trilogy. Now, we do know that these movies are all set and ready to release in 2022, 24, and 26. And what's really great about this is that there are a lot of discussions between both Disney and Lucasfilm in order to shoot these movies back to back. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about the future of the Star Wars franchise, and what's really intriguing about the new trilogy is that it's described that the fourth Star Wars trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones is set to introduce many of the fan-favorite Legends characters from the expanded universe that will consist of both Jedi and Sith. Additionally, it's said that the set of 3 Star Wars movies will have strong connections to the prequel trilogy era that will also open a new timeline of the Star Wars franchise that fans have never seen before on the big screen, and that many of the visions of George Lucas will be used as inspiration for the films. It's also described that the fourth trilogy will introduce new stories of the Jedi and Sith that is planned to kickstart an entire new universe. Disney and Lucasfilm are set to approach the fourth trilogy in a way to create a Star Wars universe similar to Marvel, where many of the stories outside the trilogy will interconnect. The films are said to include many of the planets and species also seen in the originals and the prequels that will be used in a way to connect it to the Skywalker saga. So this trilogy seems like it's going to be more in tune with the Skywalker saga, while not having the characters of Luke and Anakin, Obi-Wan, or any of those characters related to the Skywalker saga, but at the same exact time making it really feel like it is connected to everything else that we have all been used to for so very long now. So I want to go over one of the pieces here. For the longest time, a lot of people have been wondering exactly how David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are going to really, produce these movies in a way that fans have never seen before. Now, they are approaching these movies kind of like how George Lucas approached his original trilogy, and they're really trying to make it the best of the actual Star Wars films. Now, one thing I will say is that there's a lot of criticism right now on whether or not they will be the ones be able to handle a Star Wars trilogy because of what happened with the final season of Game of Thrones, right? Season 8. That I will say, there's a lot of talk out there that the reason as to why Game of Thrones had a bit of a slump there is because they were devoted to doing a lot of Star Wars related content, coming up with the new stories and stuff around those lines before they begin work on the actual script. So the other piece that I do want to go over is, of course, how it's going to include a lot of the fan-favorite Legends, Sith, and Jedi characters. So this basically means that we have a great, opportunity for these films to introduce Darth Revan, Darth Malak, Darth Malgus, Darth Sion. I mean, the list goes on, right? Darth Nihilus. I mean, they could really toy around with all these different characters in these movies, and as well as add new ones to the side. And I think that this is going to be a great story, because we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are really going to be using a lot of Legends material in order to tell the 3 new Star Wars films by themselves. So the other thing that I do want to go over is how the 4th trilogy will also introduce, of course, new stories of the Jedi and Sith that is planned to kickstart an entire new universe, where basically Disney and Lucasfilm are approaching the 3 Star Wars movies to actually become a universe, if you will, where all future movies that will be made after these ones in the future are going to have connections to these movies. So if you look at Marvel and you see how, like, Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame and Age of Ultron, how those are the big movies, and then you have all the side movies like Iron Man 1 through 3 and all the other characters like Thor and everybody else, how those movies are connected to those films. That's exactly how they're going to approach these Star Wars movies, and to be honest, it can work. As long as they don't Marvelize the Star Wars films too much, they're keeping that format of just connecting this trilogy to future Star Wars installments, whatever they may be in the form of, let's say, for example, TV series or standalone films that are going to connect to these ones. And this may very well and absolutely connect to what we actually heard about a couple of weeks ago, about there being talks of course, a Knights of the Old Republic movie being in development as we speak. So with that being said, guys, I think that the Old Republic is a must for the three Star Wars movies, now that they are going to be exploring Jedi and Sith lore, as well as introducing, fan favorite legends, Jedi and Sith characters into these three Star Wars movies. It's pretty safe to say at this point in time that it is in fact going to be the Old Republic era, without a doubt. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.